Welcome to episode 18 of the. I think it's still going to be called the Greenhorn Podcast. What do you think we should reveal our new podcast name, Neil?
No, I think we'll wait to the end. We'll wait to the end. A bit of a rebrand we're doing.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I think that could be the little nugget that people could wait for at the end of the podcast to find out what we've renamed and branded it to.
Don't fast forward.
No, you're not allowed to fast forward. You've got to listen to the whole thing and listen to us chatter. Welcome to the Greenhorn Podcast, as it so shall be named for now. We've had a little bit of a break, me and Neil. We haven't recorded a podcast like this for a couple of weeks at least. We've been doing things with family. We've been going on holiday. We're doing lots of different kind of things. Normally, we record one of these once a week, and then it's released either the following week, and it's got scheduled and stuff. But we managed to record a whole bunch of podcasts, and it just meant for the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've had them scheduled in, and we've managed to take a break. And absence makes the heart grow fonder. So I've been craving a bit of a conversation with my little brother, but also to record another podcast and continue our really good run. Have you felt like that, Neil?
I have. I felt it's quite hard to get back into it, though. We did have one scheduled last week. Gordon had to change plans last minute. I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, I felt a bit, I don't know. We had a really good run. We had a really good routine. It was weekly. And then this week it's been hard to schedule it in. It's been hard to make the time. I don't know why, because I'm off. I'm not working. Maybe there's more family commitments because the schools are off and stuff just now. But yeah, it's weird when you get out of that routine.
Yeah, it is weird. And it kind of feels a little bit like you have to shoehorn it into your life again. Because, it's just... Because, this podcast, as you get into your 30s, it's not a priority, right? Things like this aren't a priority. Going to the gym isn't a priority. Looking after kids, going on holiday, just generally being busy is... You've got other things that are paying the bills or doing the stuff. So yeah. I guess it's just getting over that hurdle, and we're back onto it, right? We were because you wanted to reschedule this morning, and we're going to do tonight, but then anyway, we're sat down, we're having a podcast. This episode, for those that are listening, this episode it's not going to be anything, heart revealing or world changing, but it's basically just I think a nice little catch up between me and Neil and what we've been up to for the past 2 or 3 weeks, because we've done quite a bit actually, which is kind of good. You've been doing quite a lot of things, Neil. I guess you could probably start. I mean, what the heck have you been up to the past 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, so I guess our last episode was filmed and recorded in London when I was down for kind of a week of work and socialising with friends. We haven't recorded one since, so I'll probably start off there. Now I'm kind of in a new company. A company came to buy the startup I was in, and it's obviously a bigger beast, so I was down in London for a few days to meet the other colleagues and some of the other kind of directors and stuff, which was great. And then spent the weekend down in Surrey, where Gordon stays with his in-laws. And my daughter and my mum, our mum, came down to spend the weekend. So yeah, really good weekend. Went into London for the day.
I forgot that happened. There's been so much going on. Yeah, mum and Neil's daughter Isla, so my niece and my daughter's cousin were all down, so we had a lovely little weekend together over Mother's Day, which was great.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, London on Saturday, where I can get into my big purchase, my new shoes, which we can touch on in a wee bit. And Sunday we had a nice Mother's Day lunch, and then Sunday evening we flew back. So yeah, it was a nice week away.
It was very cool. It was very cool to see Isla. She's 7 now. To see her hanging out with Olivia, because we've got some crazy pictures. Isla was so cute. She got very excited about coming to see little baby Olivia. She was couldn't wait to come in and visit, and she bought her some sunglasses and made her some things. So we've got some very good pictures for whenever they're older to be able to sort of show them, which I think is brilliant.
I'll kind of, if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, I think I mentioned this, but it was a really proud dad moment. Isla had her birthday end of February, and instead of getting toys and presents, she asked for flights down to London. And out of the blue, we didn't kind of coax her into it or kind of try and persuade her otherwise. So I think that was a really good dad moment. And we had it planned before, but Isla got chicken pox and then things changed. But yeah, we finally made the trip. It was great. Isla made a wee memory book with her photo album she's got, and she even took it into class. So she took it into her primary school and told her school kids all about it.
And that's
so yeah, that was one.
That's the family thing, right? This is where now we're getting into that age where we're kind of like it's coordinating families, which is always an interesting thing to do. But equally, we get the fruits of it, which I think is, it's something that you just kind of party to as a brother or sister or whatever else. But now it's like our kids are getting to know each other, which is kind of weird but kind of fun, It
is. And then the following week, just kind of work as normal. And last week was kind of the family trip, Easter trip. We took a week up to Skye, which is a bit of a short notice thing. It was just the kind of afternoon we decided to go. The weather was meant to be pretty rubbish, but luckily it turned out really nice. And the one thing I love about Skye, and I mentioned this to Gordon before, is that there's no Wi-Fi, phone signal. I mean, for people that don't know, Skye is an island off the mainland of Scotland. You can get there over a bridge. But yeah, there's not much phone signal. There's no Wi-Fi in the house we stay at. There's a TV, but the reception is rubbish, and there's like 3 or 4 channels. So you kind of get put off by that. And the only entertainment you have is board games, puzzles, and yeah, it just kind of takes you back to basics. And I think it's really healthy for a family that's being brought up in the 21st century, 2022.
Oh, I don't know. I quite liked getting my Chipotle from Deliveroo last night when I pressed the button and someone delivered me some hot steaming Mexican rice.
Yeah, but then you can get some fresh what do we get? Langoustines, which are just phenomenal. And all
lovely.
That good stuff.
I'm sure they're really tasty, but I've got a Michelin star restaurant down the road. It's a half-hour train journey. They'll get me some fresh langoustines and I don't have to go out and catch them.
Anyway, my point is, the kids, day one of the trip, the kids are like, can I watch TV? Can I play my iPad? Can I look on your phone? And like, they don't really work because there's no signal. They've got a few games on them, but we don't allow that. And then by day 2, the kind of requests get less and less frequent, and day 3 they just forget they kind of exist. And I think it's a really healthy thing. Like, instead of after breakfast going to watch TV, after breakfast they get their welly boots on and go outside and start playing on the beach by the Skye house. So yeah, it was just great.
But there's always something else though, isn't there? It's kind of a case of like I can definitely see it that I can see the benefit of running around outside and playing games and that kind of thing from like a social perspective. But that's just another way of doing it, isn't it? Really, compared to a screen, I guess, or an iPad or whatever else.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more depth of creativity. like, for example, I made a game for Ben and Lewis to throw stones in a welly boot, and they loved it.
Who can get the stone in the welly boot first?
Well, exactly. And
did they start competing and cheating against each other, or anything start happening on that front?
They started going around every shoe and every welly boot and just putting stones in them.
Right.
But yeah, it's just little things like that. Like, we made a campfire on the beach, and yeah, it was great. Now we're back to reality. But I do find it slows down or makes you think about TV now. So, I mean, the last few days we've only been home 2 or 3 days. I haven't really had TV much. I've probably been on my phone less. Yeah.
You'll adapt, Neil. It's called hedonic adaptation, where you get used to your comfortable surroundings. And yeah, I suppose it's kind of taking you back into that stark reality that these things probably dominate your life a bit too much, right? Which is, I guess, what you're kind of getting at. And there is some bliss in some silence, or just even the sound of nature. There's something funnily nice about that, isn't there? Rather than the cold hum of your fridge freezer.
Yeah, I mean, I went on a 10-mile trail run. It took me about 2 hours, and it was in the middle of nowhere. 0 phone signal for the entire 2 hours. Didn't have any earphones.
Sounds safe, Neil. Sounds very safe.
Yeah, probably not that safe.
Knowing your track record with crashing your bike and all sorts of, passing out because of COVID, I'd at least taken a beacon with me.
Yeah, I was fine. But yeah, just that, like, getting off grid, and all you've got is yourself, some water, and your watch. Yeah, it's good. Anyway, that's my quick rundown. We can go to a few more points in terms of digital detoxes and like my running, how that's going. But Gordon, how's your 3 weeks?
Well, I think this is the biggest celebration of my 3 weeks is I've been to the gym. Been to the gym, Neil. I've been to the gym 5 times.
Wow.
I know. Coming from a former personal trainer, a 12-year veteran of the fitness industry, I now celebrate the fact that I've actually gone to the gym. Wow.
So is that three days a week you've been trying?
Yeah, so I did 2 last week and then 3 this week. It's just I enjoy it. You know, I do. I love the gym, and I think there was that thing we talked about at the start where it was the consistency thing that breeds that ability to make time for it, make space for it, make it happen. But it's the first step that always becomes the hardest. And the longer you wait, the longer that you sort of procrastinate on it, that you delay it, you kind of put it off, the harder it gets. Like, the worse it gets, actually, I think. And I was definitely suffering that from the gym aspect, because I've competed at high levels in natural bodybuilding and powerlifting. I've had what I looked at as an attained a high level physique, if you will. So then I now think of it like I go to the gym and I'm like, oh God, these 24 kilo dumbbells feel really heavy. And it makes you feel a little bit worthless and a little bit shameful and a little bit sad that you've regressed so much and you've got that mountain to climb again. But then again, I look now and I'm thinking, I actually feel really good about the fact I've gone to the gym. And then other things start happening. Like, I've now been really conscious of getting more steps. So Laura, because the weather's a bit nicer, we live about a 15-minute walk now to the train station. Laura will be like, oh, I'll come and pick you up. And I'm like, oh, no, it's okay. I'll get my steps in. So I'm starting to and even, eating much more vegetables, being more conscious rather than ordering guacamole with my chipotle. I'm not having that, having no cheese, not having snacks. Just a better, healthy outlook on general approach. I'm weighing in daily now again, which I used to do before, which is a good subconscious kind of like measurement tool to keep me accountable to a certain extent. So hey, yeah, it's been a bit sore. Like I'm a bit tired and a bit sore, but oh God, it's good to be back at the gym, I tell you.
Nice. So what's your main kind of goals in terms of your gym? Have you made any yet?
Yeah. One of my things with this, like, I'm not even writing down my workouts for these first few weeks, I don't think. Because I think the more that you narrow your scope of practice, and I guess that's kind of a direction in terms of a goal, like I've got to achieve this weight or this thing, I guess there's kind of like a more of an expectation. And also there's a potential for more failure, right? If you don't reach that goal. But if you have this more kind of like transient, dreamlike feeling about going to the gym, I know it sounds a little bit kind of, I don't know, hippie-ish. But I guess I'm just enjoying, I'm enjoying the side effect of going to the gym and the feeling that it gives you when you're finished. And when I'm in it, I feel like my heart and lungs are working. I feel like my muscles are pumped and sore. And I guess I'm kind of trying to reconnect with ultimately what what exercise or movement, if you will, if you want to even dumb it down even further, does for me as an individual, mentally and physically. So I guess I'm trying to focus on that first, because I think if you start with the feeling, or you focus on the feeling, I think you're more likely to continue it. If you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you're gonna look after your daughter more, and you've got all these processes that you have to do. But it's actually the feeling, it's how she makes you feel that drives it. It's not the act.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, definitely. And I've been running, I'd say, pretty continually. Like, I haven't really had much, maybe a week off because of COVID or a week off because of holidays or something like that. But yeah, maybe 3 or 4 years I've been, at least once a week I've been out running. And yeah, you focus on that feeling. I've had goals throughout that journey, but not every run or not every period of running I've done. I haven't had initially a goal that I'm reaching. It's just that feeling you get, and if you focus on that, I think it's a good thing to do.
I think it's a great foundation, and eventually, Neil, don't get me wrong, I'm probably going to be like, hey, I want to get up to these weights again and try and manage that. And we've certainly got a holiday that's kind of on the horizon at the end of June where we're going off to the west coast of America. And, I'd like to look good for that. But equally, like, I'm married, I've got a kid now. Do I need to be strutting down the beach? But I guess it's more of that comfortable thing, right? I don't want to feel uncomfortable in my own skin. I guess that's been like a massive win. And then I've been training with Ali. Like he wants to become a Gymshark athlete. And then there's this potential of a Men's Health cover model photo shoot sort of thing. So I'm kind of like, it's nice to have that gym buddy type of thing to push each other. But then also he had his booster jab on, I don't know when it was. Maybe it was Wednesday, like Tuesday or something. And then Wednesday he really didn't feel very well, so he skipped the gym session. But I got up, and for ages I was procrastinating on this gym that's literally a 2-minute walk from the office. It's like a university gym. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be awkward enough to go in and ask how much it is, and just, I don't need to do it now. I can do it later. And I was like, nah, sod it. I've committed to this. I've already done like 3 gym sessions. Like, let's go and find out what it's about. Went in, 10 quid for a walk-in session, 40 odd quid or a month or something. It's a university gym. It's absolutely dead in the morning. Like
wow.
It's 7-ish,
Nice.
7:15, absolutely dead, which is huge for a gym, right? You get on the equipment when you want it. You don't have to fight for anything. There's no knobs doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things with equipment.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to a pure gym. It's great. Absolutely brilliant. So that's going to be a fantastic backup plan because Ali's got a gym in his apartment building, so we use that. But yeah, that was a good one.
Nice.
So that's definitely my first major one. We had a few other little things, like we went off we had a holiday, just me and Laura, without Bambino, without Olivia. So it was just the two of us for 4 nights. We went off to the Amalfi Coast. So we did some Sorrento, Positano. We did Amalfi, which is actually a city thing on the Amalfi Coast. And that was really, really nice. I would say, though, for those that have been asking, they're like, oh, should you go to the Amalfi Coast? It is very beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's on a cliff side, it's on the Mediterranean, it's, kind of winding, and there's incredible views, and it's lovely. But if I was honest, if you took Positano off the side of the mountain, away from the Mediterranean, and let's put it in London somewhere, it would definitely be a council estate.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. It's not well kept, and there's like a weird thing going on there. I don't know what's happening, but if it costs you €4 for both of you to get to another town on public transport, so you're on a bus, but the same 30-minute journey costs €80 by cab, there's something not right about that.
Yeah.
Even in London is expensive, and a day pass thing to use the tube network or whatever else, I think it's £13 for me to get to from where I am. But a cab would cost £30. Not 100.
Yeah.
Mad.
Some weird cartel or... Yeah.
Who knows, Neil? There's some sort of weird Italian mafia running the taxi things. And it was just kind of like, it's clearly nice, and it's a good picturesque place to go and whatnot, and the food's pretty good if you're off the beaten track and don't tend to go for sort of the hotels with views. But yeah, I'd probably just go once. I don't know if we'll go back. And even apparently in summertime, it's absolutely mental. And if you think this is the Italian Riviera, so it's like really winding, tiny roads along cliff sides. Yeah. So the traffic must be absolutely horrific.
So how was it your first trip away without that little baby Olivia? First night?
I was fine, Neil. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about me. Like, I love Olivia, and if you're listening to this when you're 18,
You missed her.
I did miss her, and I do miss her when I don't see her. But at the same time, I like my own pace.
Yeah.
I like my own pursuits, I guess. And it's, it's that thing about, you bring your happiness to a relationship, and it's the same thing with your children and your family. It's not the family doesn't necessarily is ingrained in making you happy. You know what I mean? But it was also nice with me and Laura, like, we're not tired, and we're not having to look in our periphery all the time to find out what Olivia's up to and what's her routine and what's she doing and how she's doing things. So just to be the two of us, boyfriend and girlfriend holding hands, walking around Positano, it was all very nice, to be honest. And went out for some nice meals. We enjoyed some local food and wine, and it was just nice. But the other thing was we had every single weather system come through the Amalfi Coast. Like, you wouldn't think that the Italian Riviera would be where it would hailstone.
Wow.
But it did. It hailstoned, it rained, it was windy, it was sunny, it was hot, I got sunburned, like, oh, like, ridiculous. But yeah, we loved it. I suppose what was my other one that I've written down here?
Your random France trip.
Oh, yeah. So I've been to Paris as well. So this is my third country in about a month. We've got a fourth one coming up at the end of this month, which is in the shape of Berlin. But the Paris trip. So that was pretty cool. So Ali's writing a book at the moment. So I went to go and create a vlog with him about sort of him writing his books. But we went to go and meet a chap called Jack. I can't remember his name. He's a big YouTuber, 1 million subscribers or whatever else. He's part of this book writing consortium, if you will, that Ali's working with. So we went to go and do like a round table sort of thing with them. So it was kind of a, again, just going filming. Very kind. We went business class on the Eurostar, which I've never done before. Not as fancy as like business class on a plane. And yeah, it was just it's just different, right? It's just that's my job, and that's kind of what I do, where I follow someone around with a camera, and we go to cool locations and do cool things. So, but we were just stuck in it. We were basically just stuck in a hotel all day, writing the book.
Not much exploring or out and about.
Not a huge amount. I think Berlin's going to be different. It's a kind of a cratery, conferencey thing, so we get meet lots of people and do some things. So that'll be a bit more fun, I think. Yeah, back in the gym. Oh, back in the gym thing, by the way. Do you have free healthcare with your work, Neil?
Health insurance. I used to have the health fatality thing in my old job, not anymore.
Oh, well, I think you should push for it because it's great.
you got to do like 10,000 steps and you get a free coffee or something.
Well, it kind of works like that, yeah. Now, it works for me very well because I'm a bit competitive. And I like point systems and gamification and all that kind of stuff. And at work, they've got this private health insurance thing, which is fantastic. And I think I'd had it before through Laura's work, but they sort of cancelled the spousal thing. And I never really took it seriously. I didn't really do it. But I signed up to all of it, and now I'm obsessed. I get if I do 12 points, which is about 4 bouts or 3 bouts of 7,000 steps a day, I get a free coffee from Nero.
Yeah.
If I do about 40 odd points a month, I get free cinema ticket. I get all sorts of like bonus things. If I get up to a certain like level, you get bronze, silver, gold, and like platinum. Then I get things like 50% off hotel stays. Like I get free massages, free stuff, and I get like a free health check thing. So I've signed up to that. So they do take blood from you and stuff and check you out and see what you're doing because we've got this high tier one. But I love it. I think it's great. And it's really pushing, like, it helps with my gym stuff. Because obviously the gym for me now is about that health thing, right? We've talked about it before, haven't we, Neil? Where health is our main provider because we want to be able to be granddads that climb trees. So it's kind of couples in that nicely because it's kind of like pushing me to obviously be healthier because it contributes towards a lower cost in overall insurance or payout, if ever. So I'm game for that. And if I can get free stuff, I might get an Apple Watch. You get this Apple Watch thing. So
yeah, there's a few people at my old work who signed up to the Apple Watch thing, and if they did a certain amount of steps or activity throughout the week and the month, the Apple Watch, it was like say £30 a month, and then it would be like a tier system. It would go down to zero eventually, and it's just, I think from a business sense, obviously it's insurance at the end of the day, but the healthier and fitter you are, probably the less chance of you making a claim. Therefore, they're going to be
But also if people take it seriously at work, they're less likely to get sick. They're more likely to go to work. They're less likely to take long absences. They're probably going to be happier because exercise helps things like general feeling and overall vitality. Funnily enough, so I think it's great, and I've been well engrossed in that overall, which I think is great. But you were going to mention that segues nicely into these new trainers that you've bought. Neil dropped a couple of hundred bags, for anyone who's in London and knows the slang. A couple of hundred bags on new trainers, and he was inspired by the sub 2 hour marathon Kipchoge thing.
Yeah.
So how's it been?
To be honest, I don't know. I bought them thinking it might be a bit gimmicky, but I'm okay with that. I've never really spent more than £100 on running shoes. I probably go through a pair of running shoes every 6 months. And yeah, I've been looking at all these reviews. I looked at the kind of the documentary that Kipchoge made on YouTube about them, and I thought, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna buy them. And if they don't live up to the hype, then that's okay. I'm sure they'll still make me run just as well as £100 shoes. Anyway, got them. Had my first run in Surrey. Didn't really know the kind of the route or anything, or the kind of the ways, but it felt amazing. Like the first run, even walking in them, you feel like you're walking faster. And I think it's because the way the plate is kind of situated under your foot, it's kind of pushing you forward and kind of bouncing you out. It's a carbon fiber plate. For those that don't know, they're the kind of Vaporfly 2% or 1% 2s or something. And yeah, just taking them back home to my kind of home ground of the similar routes that I've ran for the last 3-4 years. There's definitely a noticeable difference in terms of time, in terms of pace, in terms of fatigue. So these shoes are really, really light. Don't know the exact grammage, but I'd probably say they're half the weight of my standard running shoes, which make a massive difference in your overall tiredness in your legs. And I probably ran, I'd say, 50 miles in them so far. And yeah, just night and day to other running shoes. It's going to be interesting to see how long they last. There's kind of mixed reviews of, like, some people are only getting 200 to 300 miles out of them. Some people are getting 600 to 700 miles out of them. So yeah,
I'm sure with your Scottish blood, Neil, you'll be getting 1,000 miles at least out of them. Or yeah. There's probably some classic jokes kicking around. You'll get your 500 miles out of them, while you're listening to the Proclaimers. Yeah,
but I guess I don't know. Some things I wouldn't. What's my lesson out of this? I didn't want to, or I believed the hype, and the hype lived up to the expectations. I think they're a great piece of technology. I'd say that, are they worth the money? They're £250. Yeah, more than 200%.
There's something about that, and I guess I'm kind of slightly bullish on these things. But once you're kind of ingrained in something that you really enjoy, and you get a lot of pleasure from running. I know you do, because you take lots of pictures and you talk about it quite a lot. Same for me for the gym. Same for me for camera equipment, that kind of stuff. Why not buy yourself? Once you're properly ingrained in it, and you like, it costs per wear as well. You wear these trainers a lot. It's not like you're a middle-aged man who's got far too much money and thinks he's going to be the next Kipchoge. You're a young chap who really enjoys running. It keeps you healthy. It continues you to do so. It's a new little toy to play with. It's a new experience, and you love it and you enjoy it, and it keeps you doing that thing, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
So I guess they're expensive, but I'm bullish on that. I think it's a great purchase for you.
That experience thing's interesting. So again, running. Some people might find it fun, some people might find it mundane and a slog. But if you try a new technology or try something different, it's going to make that experience better. And I think from these shoes, without a doubt, it's made me excited to get up in the morning and try and beat that 5K time. I mean, I probably ran 4 or 5 5Ks under 20 minutes in these shoes. And before that, it was probably, I'd done it once before. I'd done it once before. So I guess that kind of shows, I don't know, is it a mental thing? I don't think so. I think it's a technology in the shoe that's making me run faster. But the fact that I've ran 4 sub 20 minute 5Ks in the space of 3 or 4 weeks is pretty impressive. When before...
I'm gonna say placebo's pretty powerful, Neil. I'll say that the trainers, I don't disagree that the trainers are very good, and I'm sure they are. But the power of placebo is pretty impactful and pretty incredible. So
marketing. But as we're on this kind of running topic, I put in my notes about the kind of catch-up thing is the last few weeks. There's definitely been, I don't know, an overindulgence, a little bit of weight gain, more alcohol consumed, and that kind of thing. And I feel like I'm kind of not stuck in a rut, but maybe I am stuck in a rut in terms of trying to get out of it. There's a lot more social occasions. I feel like I'm now having. There's more travel to London with work, so I'm down there in a couple of weeks for a week, which I think every night will probably be dinners and beers, and it's trying to control that, and I don't know how to get myself back out there. But the reason I kind of bring it up is because I've still got my my 30 mile 50k marathon that I want to do, and I feel that in order to perform the best, I want to be a relatively decent body weight to achieve that, because each kilogram and each pound you have on your body over a 30 mile period makes a big difference, and you definitely notice it even 2 or 3 kilograms over your normal weight. If you're running a long period of time, you feel it in your joints, you feel it in your muscles. So yeah, it's I'm being mindful about, I need to make some kind of change. I don't know how to do that.
It doesn't have to be a dramatic one. It sounds like you're searching for a dramatic change, when you're then fighting against an uphill battle, because at the end of the day you have to do these things. There's not really a choice. It's not like you don't want to do them either, but you also need to do them. So rather than looking at it some sort of as if it's you have to change, it's just really a morphing of your decisions, I guess, or a reevaluation of some of your decisions. So yeah, I guess it's a kind of a change, but it's not where you would normally make these at home anyway. Like you're saying, you're doing something that's different, but you can still make the different the same. It's just in a different environment. So if you go to a restaurant, for example, do you need to have the burger and chips?
Yeah, no, you're right.
So I get it. I do get it. And it's very tempting as well. You know, you're surrounded by everyone. But like, no one's going to bat an eyelid if you just have a chicken breast and a side of vegetables. And in fact, I'd be very surprised if they didn't kick up a conversation and be like, hold on a minute, why you not have any chips? You're like, oh, I've got an ultramarathon in a few weeks. Oh, wow, what's an ultramarathon? Like, what's that? Like, that's...
Yeah, no, you're right. I can make more conscious decisions and still enjoy myself. That's definitely something. And like, I just need to set a date. Like, I feel I did 15 miles non-stop last week. I felt great. Like, aimed for 8 minute a mile. I did 7:40 a mile, and yeah, I felt like I could have kept going, which is, it's obviously a testament to my training. But I just need to get a date. I just need to put a date in the diary and say I'm going to do it now.
Yeah, that's also true. That will be helpful. Some deadlines are often quite helpful. Yeah. We've done our little podcasts in London. We've probably got a few hopefully coming up. I have some ideas for them, given you're near Tower Bridge. I think it'd be quite cool if we did one outside. We get my Zoom H6 and we'll do a little iPhone thing, and we'll do our podcast set up like that. I thought it would be quite fun outside somewhere, have a couple of beers next to Tower Bridge.
Yeah, sounds good.
But yeah, one other little thing that I've been doing. Now, I did commit, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to fulfill it, but I did commit when me and Ali were in Dubai and we're flying back. He did commit me to the 17th of April for launch or publishing a YouTube video. I don't think I'm going to quite get there, but I have every morning and every evening on my commute home, I've been scripting YouTube videos. So I've got my little video script template thing that I'm using. I'm writing them all out, scripting them all, going through all sort of the B-roll and aspects of things that I need to create these YouTube videos. And that feels pretty good. But I still not filmed one yet. That's the real bit, right? So yeah. I'm going to try and find the time to do it. But over the past sort of 2 or 3 weeks, I've been scripting and writing YouTube videos and planning them out, and sort of just basically trying to get to the point where maybe I've got 4 or 5 scripts ready to be able to film, and I'll film them all in a day or in an afternoon. And it's quite exciting to get it done, because I think after the success of my last 3 YouTube videos that I filmed last year, one did 120,000 views, other one did like 45,000, another one did 30,000. I reckon I can do it.
Yeah. Are you going to tell us the subject and like what you're doing, or are you going to keep it a surprise?
Well, this kind of maybe titillates the audience if they're into the 33 minutes into the podcast, where they might get an understanding of what the new branding that we're going to go through of the Greenhorn podcast and the new name. But basically, I'm taking it on the route of like dad bod type of fitness stuff. So I came up with like a little avatar of who I'm aiming for and who I'm talking to. So I sort of put together a target audience of sort of a 35-year-old me, basically, new dad, juggling time commitments between work, family, supporting the wife, health and hobbies, you know, and how can they make fitness work for them effectively, without it like taking up hours and hours of their time or overwhelming them with MyFitnessPal apps and all that kind of stuff. Then there was like the periphery of those, so there's a younger and older of those, so looking to become a dad soon, worried about the commitment families bring, like how is fitness going to fit into their lives, how's it going to work, you know, are they worried about that, weight gain, all those kind of things. And then perhaps a bit older, so someone who's in their 40s, where their kids are now teenagers, they've got more time to work out, but working out around niggles or boredom or, trying to get some sort of perspective on what they're doing. So a few of the different titles and scripts that I've done 10 science-based ways to get rid of your dad bod. I've got morning gym routine for dads. I've come up with the easy diet. So I don't know if I'll have to put for dads or whatever else, but I'm trying to have a bit of a niche. I think that's quite important, certainly within the fitness sphere. Then I've got another one. I tried yoga for 30 days. And then another one was time-saving tips for your workouts. But I've put together all these sort of title ideas and thumbnail sort of ideas and all sorts of bits and pieces. But I think working for a YouTuber and for a YouTube company, if you will, the detail that goes into YouTube videos now is phenomenal. And it's really quite interesting to see where it used to be, or certainly in the environment that I was working in within the fitness industry. Most people are nowhere near planning their content like they probably should. Because if you want to get to basically a lifestyle where your YouTube channel funds you or supports you, you need to take it seriously. You need to think about how am I doing this, and the production value, the level of input and education offering to the audience, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty amazing what goes into it. And at the same time, Ali's pretty good at just riffing. You'll say talk about audiobooks, and he'll just go off on one.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm proud you're finally making a step in the right direction.
Didn't you say you were going to make a YouTube video about your new trainers?
I did, and actually, I tried to film a bit of content on my phone. I've got an iPhone 11, so it's a few years old now. And I thought the image stabilization was good, and it's not good. So running with it just looked horrendous. And yeah, I tried to do a bit of video in Sky, and it just wasn't up to the action. So
why does it have to be perfect? Or was it so bad that you couldn't even see?
Yeah, it was so bad. It was just shaky. It just wasn't usable. Which is a shame. But I've actually been looking on Facebook Marketplace. You can get a GoPro 8, which has the advanced image stabilization for £100. So
not bad at all.
There's still that thought in my head of making something, because as Gordon mentioned, I enjoy running for the fitness aspect, but also for the experience. And for an example is if I was to walk the route I ran in Sky, I think they say it's going to be 7 to 8 hours to walk it. I did it in 2 hours running it. So you can experience so much more if you're running, and to be able to capture that in a video format, I think would be pretty awesome.
It's just like the movie, Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
you can just experience so much more of life when you run it rather than walk it, Neil.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's still in the back of my head. Still may do something. Watch this space.
Has it been anything else you've been up to? You got some new Wi-Fi. What? Neil's very delighted about this. These are the things, ladies and gentlemen. These are the things that we as
dads,
mid-30s dads get interested in. It's things like, oh, you got yourself some new Wi-Fi. What's happened there? Oh my dear Lord!
I think I'm on 300 megabytes download, 100 megabytes upload, which is far different from what I was before. And yeah, it makes a difference, I guess. Doing things like this make it easier. There was a lot of cutouts last time in my old internet, and now we've got 3 children that all have connected devices and all that. It helps. But yeah, there's a bit of fiasco with that. Someone came around to dig up the road and feed the new fibre cable to our house, and it turns out
you were responsible basically for
chaos,
diggers and chaos going outside because Neil wanted his upgraded internet on the estate.
Yeah, but I mean, it was meant to happen months ago, but the old cable went under a gas pipe, and this person wasn't gas certified, so they had to wait 4 weeks to get somebody that was gas certified to move the cable that was under the gas pipe. Then he didn't have to touch the gas pipe; it was just taking it up from underneath. Mad. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you found exciting things with your construction project. How's that going?
Oh my God. When you start something and you think this is going to be a great idea, it is. You know what? I sound like I'm complaining. I am a little bit, but at the same time, I can really see how it's going to be amazing, and it transforms the space that we were living in to something now that I really want to live in. I really want to enjoy, and I know I'm going to enjoy it for over a decade. But it's definitely costing us like 25 to 30% more than we budgeted for. I won't have a pot to piss in by the time this extension gets done. But like all the walls are done. We've been toing and froing about the kitchen design, and we seem to be pretty set on it. And I think it's a good decision that we're making on it. We just now need to refine sort of the nitty gritty bits of, you know, what color scheme exactly do we have? Do we order the like things on the wall, like the handles and where the appliances go? And then now we've got to work out where the plumbing, so for radiators and switches and plugs and all that kind of stuff, like where we're going to put those. And then we've got to order flooring, and then we've got to pay for bifold doors and then skylights. And like, do you have concrete tiles or do you have clay tiles for the roof? You know, do you want spotlights here? Do you want them there? You know, it's just sometimes you just want people. It's kind of, it's interesting, and it's kind of good though, because at some stage, I don't know, in my life, I'd like to be able to do quite a large build project, perhaps, or you know, do something like that. And this is kind of a mini one, right? It gives you a good understanding that yes, it will absolutely run over budget, and it will cost you a lot more money than you think. And there are a lot of little decisions that you never even thought of or even considered, and stuff will change. Like we have to have a sewage pipe thing that's boxed in the kitchen that we didn't think we needed, so it changes the aesthetic of it, and we don't know if that makes a difference, and it might make a difference, but until it's there, we don't know. And like positions of manhole covers and all sorts of other bits and pieces. But it is really, really exciting because it's just going to be such a nice space to be able to enjoy. And I can see Olivia playing in the corner. I can see us having like dinner parties. I can see us enjoying having like conversations with friends when they come over. I can see me coming down in the morning and wanting to get a coffee and just sort of sitting out, looking out in the garden with the bifold doors open in the summertime. Like just all that kind of stuff, right, Neil? It's very wholesome and it feels really good.
Yeah. So what do you think the price range, or why is it going up? Is it the materials? Is it?
I guess there is definitely a material cost. You know, our original quote back before this whole shenanigans was happening, or the increase in cost of goods has gone up so much. You know, it was about £7,000 difference in our quote from before then to now, or before then to when we actually got quoted. And I imagine it's probably gone up even more now. But it's just stuff that that's not part of the quote. So, for example, our bifold doors and our skylight thing, you know, that's going to be like $8,000. That's not part of the quote.
Yeah.
Our flooring is going to be anywhere between £1,500 and £2,500 for the flooring. You know, you don't factor those in, and you kind of think about it, and you're like, okay, that's kind of interesting. That's probably how much it's going to be. But then you're like, oh, shit, I've now got to pay for it.
Yeah.
And then it's the optional extras. You know, the plug sockets that have USB bits in them. They are £20 rather than £5. So if you want them, then you've got to have 10 of them. So that's £200 you now got to find. You want a bin that's hidden and it's installed in the actual cabinet thing. Well, that's another £150 extra. You know, it's just extras, Neil. And I think I knew it was going to go over. I knew that the price wasn't necessarily going to be the thing, but it's definitely more than I was sort of hoping it would be. But at the same time, I'm still reflecting on that feeling, that thing that we talked about at the start of the podcast, I guess, where I know how good this is going to be. It's just going to be fantastic. And especially the way we've set it up is you can literally see from the front door, you walk in, you can see straight through the kitchen into the garden. So you've got this nice, beautiful like walkway thing, and then you come in and it'll be that open plan sort of setup that you walk in and just go, oh, wow, this is really cool. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, it's kind of stressful, just where all the money's going. You know, I've saved for quite some time now, and now I'm like, sugar, it's all gone, like just like that. Boom.
When's moving date? When's completion date? Do you think?
I think the in-laws would probably like it pretty soon, just because we're currently living with them, which is they've been very, very kind and giving us so much time and space and help, especially with Olivia, and you know. But this is their house, so I do appreciate everything they're doing for us. But I'm hoping we'll be in the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow, that long?
Yeah, well, we've got to get the bifold doors and stuff still got to get done. Supply issues with quartz tops and all sorts of things for the kitchen. So I guess we could probably move in a bit sooner, maybe, but it's really the ceiling of it, right? It's get the bifold doors and the skylight in. That's to make sure it's all sorted, and we still don't want to live in a building site. So I guess we'll see. Maybe 8 weeks. So I don't know. End of May, maybe start of June. I reckon we'll be in.
Nice. So we'll leave our listeners with a bit of a surprise rebranding announcement.
Oh,
get some drums.
I don't have those sound effects at the moment. I suppose we could do the backstory on it. I guess a little bit. We for those that have listened to every episode, which, quite frank, if you haven't listened to every episode, why haven't you? What a riveting podcast this is. The original plan for this was way back in January, when Neil. It was actually New Year, wasn't it? Yeah, it would have been January. Yeah. Where I suggested to Neil, and I was inspired by the brothers that do this together already, and they have sort of cool conversations just between the two of each other, and they're basically concreting them, solidifying them, immortalizing them in this kind of podcasting setup for when our kids listen to it and when our families and great grandparents and whatnot. And I was like, Neil, do you fancy doing a podcast? Because I already had a bit of a setup because I bought one for this Greenhorn Fitness podcast that I was keen to do. And Neil was like, yeah, sure, that sounds a bit weird, but all right, let's do that. And here we are, we're episode 18 in, and I still really enjoy it. Every time I have a conversation with Neil, every time we go through things, every time we record a podcast, I just love it. I love the make, upload, repeat sort of process thing going on. As someone just walked in.
Yeah, doors.
Oh, we have a guest on the podcast. Would you like to say hello to the audience?
You want to say hello?
No, I want water.
She wants water. She needs a cup.
Okay.
There's no cup in Daddy's office.
This continues the amateur run that we've had for quite some time, Neil. You've had your daughter now walk in, and she's made her first appearance.
Coffee cup. Wash it out.
Okay, that's it going.
Oh, that's it. Okay, good. So then, we're trying to work out, right, do we want this to grow? Do we not want this to grow? Like, what was the point? But fundamentally, it goes back to that whole thing of immortalizing conversation. So I was talking to Neil about, do we change the name of the podcast? The simple thing to do from a searchable perspective is to change the name of it overall. So, Neil, do you want to tell the audience what we're calling it? Can you remember?
I can. It took me a while, but yeah, we're gonna rebrand it Developing Dads, which
yes.
I think is very fitting because obviously we're both dads. I strangely have more experience than Gordon now. I'm the younger brother with 3 kids. Gordon's just on that journey of his first one, and yeah, I think there's a bit of a niche there. I think we can offer some. I don't think there's enough dad content. I don't think there's enough discussion on things like mental health, things like fitness, things like just how you're managing life, how you're managing kids, how you're managing relationships. So I mean,
it's basically what we're doing now.
Yeah, nothing's going to change, but
no.
it
helps us. It helps us just refine things a little bit more, I guess. It helps us basically if we're interviewing someone, they kind of understand that this isn't just some random podcast. We're actually talking about who they are as a dad and what they're doing and what their parent life is like and whatnot. So I guess it just does that a little bit, and it defines it to a new audience a little bit more. So it says, this is developing dads can be helping other dads in terms of like understanding certain things that they're doing, to literally us trying to work out what the hell we're doing because we have no idea how we're going to deal with teenagers at some stage to 20-year-olds to them going to university or getting married themselves or buying houses and all that kind of stuff. So I guess it kind of fits that narrative, and I quite like it. So I quite like the new branding, but we'll see. I went with the cartoon thing, and it's come through, so we'll start publishing that in the next ones. But for this episode, it's still going to be the Greenhorn podcast, right? And then it could be the Developing Dads in the next episode.
And we've got a few guests lined up that are both fathers, so they can add a new dynamic to it.
We do need to actually get them booked in, don't we? One's
reschedule
cancelled
them.
Yeah, have to reschedule them because I hope people enjoy the interviews. I think they're quite fun. The last episode that we had with Ali obviously was like our second most downloaded episode so far, aside from our first one. So and that's kind of, it's nice to see, and we're sort of approaching 1,000 total downloads for the podcast, which, you know, that's pretty fun. I quite enjoy the fact that that's what it is. But yeah. It's been nice. It's been nice to have this podcast again, Neil. We'll schedule in, and definitely schedule in another one for soon and see if we can backdate them. But we've got Neil's down in London in May, aren't you? Is that May?
Yeah, May for a week.
So hopefully we'll for a whole week.
Monday to Friday. Yeah.
Oh wow! And we've got our mum's 60th birthday, which I'm definitely hoping to make. I think I will be able to make it. I'm not sure we can cart our entire family up, just because. Here's the thing. So anyone who's not got children, and by that sounds very patronising from a parent, but I don't care. Not got children. As soon as you start to throw that into the mix, it changes your ability to go anywhere and do anything, and it costs. Like, for example, it cost me £100 to fly up to Edinburgh, return, which is, it's not bad. For me, Laura, and the baby to go, it's over £500.
Yeah, madness.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, isn't it, Neil?
Absolute madness.
Not when I'm spending. What was the latest thing that they wanted to charge us for the other day? Oh yes, to fit the kitchen, they wanted £4,500.
Wow.
To fit it, Neil. To fit the kitchen, not make it. And knowing me, I worked out like what that hourly rate was for like 3 days and 3 people. I was like, mate, I am not paying £50 an hour for a labourer. Get out.
Yeah. But you know, you're right. I mean, I can't see. I don't know when will we next get a big family abroad holiday? Because now, for some reason, the boys are the same as the price as the adults, and they're only 3 years old.
Oh my god!
I think it'll be a while.
Neil, you'll be selling one of your kidneys, and half of the other one. But that's it. Like that's the family thing, right? It's so expensive. I don't know. I mean, that's why I think we're traveling a little bit before Olivia obviously turns whatever age it's required for them to then ultimately pay full price, because otherwise it's just, you know, if for you to go on holiday, to come down to London, all of you, it must be nearly, let's say 100 quid each for £300, then £200 for just you two. So you're looking at £500 just for flights.
Yeah, mad.
That's a weekend break in Positano.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one you probably prefer.
Exactly. Anyway, on that note.
All right, Neil. I've got some kitchen stuff to do today on this Good Friday. You got much planned for the weekend?
Not particularly. Out tonight. Out tomorrow night. Again, this is me backtracking on what I said about indulging too much and drinking too much alcohol.
I don't want to gain too much weight. I'm overindulging, but you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go out Friday night, Saturday night.
Yeah, and yeah, just chill, family, friends. No big plans. Back to work on Tuesday.
Live the dad life.
Yeah, maybe that's our motto. Live the dad life.
Live the dad life. Thrive in the dad life. Who knows? Anyway, really appreciate anyone who's got to 53 minutes into the podcast. I hope you've really enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed a little catch up in our conversation. Who knows what we're going to title this one for today, but it's been great to get on the bandwagon again, Neil. I look forward to many more podcasts. The fact that we're approaching number 20 already feels pretty surreal, and hopefully we can continue it, and then we'll get some in-person ones next month. But any inspiring words of wisdom to finish off episode number 18?
I need to get more prepared. You always do this to me. I don't have anything. Be a good dad.
Be a good dad. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. And he's being a good dad this weekend by going out with his mates on Friday night and Saturday night and getting pissed.
Hey, the kids are coming tonight.
Oh, you're getting pissed with your kids.
Friend's house with kids.
All right. Thanks very much for listening. Anyone who wants to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we have currently the Greenhorn Podcast turning into Developing Dads, Instagram, all that jazz, and we shall see you in the next episode. See you later.